What am I, a shit magnet?
Hey, what's up, world? I got a little midweek insanity for all of you, and it's not even the middle of the week yet. It's Tuesday, December 10th, about 5 p.m. in the afternoon where I'm at. Been up since 5 o'clock in the morning, but there is no time to sleep when there's all this insanity to report on. Now, before I begin reporting on some of this absolute insanity that I came across, I want to thank whoever bought me a coffee. Somebody bought me a coffee yesterday. I really appreciate that. You appreciate my work. I appreciate your support. It really goes a long way, not just financially, but psychologically. It really helps fuel my fire.
See how a hero is rewarded. We are who we choose to be. Now choose!
But anyway, no time for that. Let's get right into this because I gotta actually read a lot of these articles. That's why this cannot wait to the end of the week. I don't think you guys want to see any more hour-and-a-half long videos. So let's get this ball rolling. So we got this article. For those of you who didn't know, Syria has fallen to terrorists that were supported by the State of Israel and other Western powers. I believe Turkey was also involved in this, but it doesn't really matter who the characters were because the MO is always the same. So let's check some of this crap that has been written out. So we got this article from Al Jazeera. Al-Assad's human slaughterhouses. What to know about Syria's prisons. I gotta say, it's pretty interesting. I've noticed that they're calling him Al-Assad instead of Assad. Like every other report that I've seen on him in previous years, they just refer to him as Assad. Now they have this Al-Assad in the title, I guess to make it sound more like it's linked to Al-Qaeda, which is interesting because it turns out that the terrorists that took over Syria, that had the support of Turkey and other Western allies, is actually a branch of Al-Qaeda, and we'll be seeing that shortly. But anyway, let's check this article out, right? So, Al-Assad's human slaughterhouses. What to know about Syria's prisons? Really, the title of this video should be Who Writes This Shit? Because you're gonna see that this is some total shit right here. So, Bashar al-Assad's apparatus ran more than 100 detention facilities were tortured indiscriminately. So during a lightning offensive to capture Syria, opposition fighters have freed thousands of people from a network of terrifying prisons that characterized the repressive al-Assad regime that they eventually ousted. I love the use of words here. The connotative meanings behind them really are just designed, they're crafted to just manipulate the reader. All right, so we got these terrifying prisons. Let's see if there's any actual evidence for this, people. So anyway, coming from the north, they took Aleppo, and coming from the north, guess what's in the north? That's Turkey. That's right, there's a bunch of history on Turkey, and them helping with these terrorists, and them smuggling, or actually paying for the ISIS oil, like when ISIS was all over Syria. ISIS was making a ton of money off of oil. Now this is interesting because to the east is Iraq, and they were basically at war with the Iraqi government too. They were trying to overthrow the Iraqi government that had basically replaced Saddam Hussein over there after the West went over there and fucked shit up. So they couldn't really sell it to the Iraqi forces in the east. Then of course to the west is Syria, and then the western north part, or far west would be Iran. I'm not sure if there's a direct link there, but directly north was Turkey. And you guys can look for this. There's plenty of evidence that showed that ISIS was making a ton of money off of selling Syrian oil to the Turkish government. Basically to Turkey, maybe not directly to the Turkey government, but I'm sure that they had to help in it because it is their border after all. It's not like the Turkey government isn't in charge of their own border over there. Not like over here in America where we just kind of have an open border that anybody can pour in through. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, coming from the north, where Turkey is, they took Aleppo first, then Hama, then Homs, and then Damascus, right? So along the way, they busted open central prisons and reassured those stumbling out. That's right, they're stumbling out. They're not walking out perfectly healthy individuals. They're stumbling out because they've just been so abused that they stumble. They no longer walk. They no longer run. Why didn't they just say crawl out? They crawled out from years of torture. Come on, just make it as obscene and fill it up with as much hyperbole as you possibly can, which is what they're going to do in a couple articles that we're going to see here. So they stumbled out frail and confused. That they were safe. Yeah, we're reassuring you guys, you're safe now. The terrorists have freed you. You're perfectly safe as long as you join their terrorist regime. If you don't, they're going to kill you, put you in a mass grave, and then probably blame Assad. Oh yeah, these aren't our mass graves. We're not the crazy terrorist murderers. No, that's the Assad regime. So anyway, they told them the regime of President Bashar al-Assad was on the verge or had already fallen, and showed the world conditions that untold thousands of people had been held in for ages. Yeah, these people have been there for ages because, they just have indefinite detentions. Oh, wait a second. I think that's the United States, right? I think they're confusing this for Guantanamo. Is that what is? Did they actually stumble into Guantanamo, where they really do torture people? They have sound torture, they have sleep deprivation, they have humiliation. I mean, just check out the tortures going on at Guantanamo. Okay, if we really want to talk about some torture, let's look at Guantanamo, where people really would have to stumble out frail and confused. Hell, you don't even have to go to Guantanamo for such sort of torture. Remember, like a year ago, when a man died in Georgia, he was found dead in a Georgia prison, a bedbug-infested jail cell, and they ruled that he died not of a heart attack, not of like another prisoner killing him, but of severe neglect. There were some reports that he was actually eaten to death by these bedbugs that had infested his cell. What a nightmare death. Fuck that, I'll take any Syrian prison out there rather than being eaten to death by bedbugs in a, I'm sure, hot and humid Georgian prison. No, but the West is of course not guilty of that. That's what the al-Bashar al-Assad regime is guilty of. Are there enough owls in the title that we're using against this monster? Oh, let's throw some more owls in there. Poor Al, man. Al's probably sitting in his living room like, what the fuck did I do, man? My name is just Al. Anyway, the work has continued as fighters and relief workers scramble. I like this. As fighters and relief workers. What are these relief workers doing mixed in with these, like, fighters and terrorists? That's a question I have. It's like, these relief workers, they're like, oh, we hear that there's a terrorist on campaign of destruction. Let's go mix in with them, right? So anyway, the work has continued as fighters and relief workers, you mean terrorists, scramble to find prisoners left behind, open secret cells. I mean, don't all prisons have like somewhat, what defines a secret cell? I mean, is it public information where all of the cells are in every single prison? I don't know. I guess this makes it seem like scarier. This has like more negative connotations. These are secret cells. And even find the location of secret facilities. Hey guys, do we have enough, did we drop the word secret enough in our article? No. We have to throw secret more in there, okay? It makes it sound spookier and more illegitimate. Like it's more of a crime what's going on in these prisons. Their efforts offer faint hope. Oh, faint hope. Oh my God, thank God, hope and change. Is Obama back in office? We need some more of that hope and change. Their efforts offer faint hope to countless Syrian families whose loved ones, oh my God, my loved one, oh God, they disappeared. They disappeared into a prison system many describe as dungeons or death camps. Who are these many? I want to know, who are the many that describe them as dungeons or death camps? I love how they're reviving the death camps. Oh my God, they're secret death camps. Where have I heard that before? I swear to God, it's like I'm reading the same story over again, written by the same authors. It's like, and you're gonna see it's definitely by the same authors. Don't worry, guys. This is gonna get really good. Okay, I know that I'm kind of dragging this out, but just wait till you guys see where this is going, right? So here's all you need to know about Syria's prison under al-Assad's rule. Okay, look, get ready, guys. You're going to learn about some crazy stuff here, right? So how many prisoners were there in Syria? Oh my God, Syria is the only country with prisoners. Let's find out how many there were in Syria. More than 100 detention facilities. Oh my God, that has to be like 100 times more than any other country in the world, right? So according to a United Nations report, and an unknown number of secret facilities. Oh my God, there's an unknown number of secret facilities because It's total bullshit. So two of the most notorious prisons were Tadmor and Sednaya. They were in the desert of the ancient city of Palmyra and just outside Damascus, respectively. So anyway, let's check this out. So we got two buildings here. I guess they're not so secretive. They stand right out. They seem to know exactly where they are. So these aren't those secretive ones, right? So what were conditions like in Syria's prisons? Horrific! They should have put like an exclamation mark here instead of just a period. Here it's just horrific. They should have put horrific in big bold letters. In 2014, a regime defector who went by the name Caesar, I wonder why he went by that name, fled Syria with tens of thousands of images, that of course you guys have never seen, showing the mutilated bodies of detainees who were killed or tortured in Syrian prisons. He passed on about 53,000 files to Syrian and international rights groups and activists. Yeah, of course, and you know, they were totally verified, and they were totally legitimate, right? You know, they didn't take them somewhere else, maybe where ISIS was at. No. They were Syrian prisons. So Human Rights Watch extrapolated that the photographs proved at least 6,786 people had died in the government's custody. Oh my God, impossible, really? 6,000, how many have died in the United States government? Let's check this out real quick. Oh my goodness. Let's see, between 2011 and 2019, the number of deaths in U.S. state and federal prisons increased from 3,168 to 4,000, marking a 34% increase. Oh my god, this is impossible! Only people die in the Assad regime's prisons! Oh my goodness, let's see, what else? What are the kind of insanity? What else is going on there? Amnesty International further referred to Sednaya prison as a slaughterhouse in 2017 after finding that thousands of people had been executed there. Were they executed there for correct reasons? Is execution a horrible thing, or is it a fitting punishment for certain crimes? No, we're not going to talk about that. How dare you execute people? How many people are executed in Saudi Arabia? Let's if you check that out, I believe I saw an article recently that Saudi Arabia, they recently had a record year for executing foreigners. Let me pull that up. Let me pause this for a second. Alrighty, let's see how many people Saudi Arabia executed so far this year in 2024. Oh my god, they executed over 300 people, and guess what? Over 100 of them were foreigners. I guess Syria's not the only one executing people. But okay, whatever. Let's go back to demonizing Al-Assad. Oh my god, in 2017, they had a slaughterhouse that executed thousands of people. Do we have an exact number? Of course not, because this is total bullshit. So anyway, they were killed in mass hangings or tortured to death, including by being deprived of food, water, and medicine. Oh, wait a second, this sounds familiar. Killing people by depriving them of food, water, and medicine. I think we just looked at a story that did that just the other day, didn't we? I think it was, oh, that's right, it's Israel and their genocide in Gaza. They're denying and preventing vital supplies from entering Gaza. That's leading to the deaths of tens of thousands, if not over 100,000 people. Okay, but let's go back to demonizing Syria. Syrian authorities would then dump them in mass graves. Oh, look at this. So we have secret death camps and mass graves. Oh, I've seen this story before. I wonder who's writing this shit. So Amnesty said the killings amount to crimes against humanity. Oh my god, humanity, the crimes against them. But let's only look at it when it's happening over here. Let's not look at it when it's happening elsewhere, where there's actually empirical evidence, right? So how many people languished in prison? Oh my god, they're languishing in prison. Of course, nobody can actually commit an actual crime in Syria. Every single individual in a prison in Syria is innocent. They're all innocent people just languishing there, all victims of the Al-Assad, Al-Bashar, Al-Regime, right? Do we have enough Al's in there? We gotta put more Al's in there. Al-Regime, Al. Okay. Anyway, about 157,634 Syrians were arrested between March 2011 and August 2024. Oh my god, these numbers are astronomical! How many people were arrested in the United States in the same time period? Alrighty, between 2011 and 2024, the United States maintained a substantial incarcerated population, with annual figures ranging from approximately 1.8 million to 2.2 million individuals in state and federal prisons, as well as local jails. So in 2011, the total incarcerated population was about 2.27 million. Anyway, each year, a significant number of individuals are admitted to and released from these facilities. For instance, in 2022 alone, there were about 469,000 admissions to state and federal prisons. Is this the al-Bashar, al-Assad, al-regime? No, this is the United States. Wait a second, there's gotta be something wrong here. This number alone in 2022, and they're telling us that between these dates, a 13-year date, only this amount of people were arrested. Something's wrong here. These numbers are not adding up to a monster. Something's wrong here, guys. Change the channel, quick, throw some other distraction into the news. Anyway, thousands more were abducted by Syria's feared security services during the reign of Bashar al-Assad's al-father, al-Hafez, who came to power in al-1971. What the hell does this have to do with current days, right? It's like thousands were abducted 3-4 decades ago. But don't worry, it was al-Bashar, al-Assad, al-Regime, al-Qassam. Bam. Anyway, his son assumed control of the country after Hafez died in 2000. They forgot an al. Why didn't they call him al-Hafez? Died in al-2000. Anyway, are there still Syrians in prison? Oh no, I hope there isn't a single Syrian in prison after the terrorists have taken over. These terrorists, don't they know that these are the perfect recruitment camps? They gotta go there and clear them out so that they can rebuild their numbers. So there are countless people still trapped, countless numbers of people still trapped in underground dungeons, according to relief groups who just happen to be blended in with the terrorists and keeping account of all of these atrocities. Anyway, authorities have called on former soldiers and prison guards to provide opposition forces with the passwords to unlock underground electronic doors, claiming that thousands of detainees were still trapped in these dungeons, according to CCTV images. We're going to check that out, right? But interesting here, right? They're now referring to them as authorities. Authorities have called on former soldiers and prison guards. Who the fuck are these authorities? You will respect my authority! That's what they're saying. Respect my authority! I am now an authority! We're authorities! Scumbags. Syria's White Helmets, who are known terrorist group, who faked chemical attacks on people. These are basically the actors, the White Helmets, who faked chemical weapon attacks on the Syrian people, claiming, Assad chemical weaponed us. And it's like, no, you guys are just lying terrorists, okay, have also offered a monetary reward to anyone coming forward with information that helps uncover a secret facility. So they're offering a monetary award for anybody who will come and star and feature in one of their fake videos that show or demonstrate that there's a secret facility. So please come help us make propaganda. Translation, a financial reward for anyone who provides information that helps find the location of secret prisons and detention centers where detainees are being held. The Syria Civil Defense White Helmets, liars, announces a financial reward of $3,000. They just, $3,000 just to throw away to anyone who provides direct information leading to the identification of secret prisons in Syria where detainees are being held. It's unclear who exactly is still behind bars, yet rebels have so far released thousands of women, as well as elderly and middle-aged men, some of who spent the majority of their lives in prison. Oh my god, there were women in prison? No way, impossible, it can't be. Who could possibly imprison women? Don't they know that all women are innocent? This cannot be. Let's check out the United States, all right? So, as of 2021, approximately 24,000 juveniles were held in residential placement facilities across the United States. In adult correction centers, the number of juveniles has also decreased. Okay, it's decreased. Where's the woman here? Actually, I think this is just children. Let's see, how many women? Oh my god, this is impossible! The United States has so many women inside a prison. This cannot be! Do you guys remember this article? I'm going to take a break from my little thing that I'm doing here. But did anybody read this article of this mother who was, actually I think I covered it in a Week in Stupid a couple weeks ago. The mother whose son, like 13 or 14-year-old son, walked into town like less than half a mile away. Small population. He walks into town by himself without even really notifying her. They're trying to throw her in prison for a year. She did nothing wrong. And then they told her, hey, you know what? We're going to not send you to prison if you force your child to have a tracker on their phone so that we can track his movements, because we can't have any free-minded, free-range children running around. They might actually grow up to question the government. Bunch of scumbags. Rebels have also discovered small children in the regime's custody. Oh my God. Please provide evidence for this. How were people tortured? In unimaginable ways. The Syrian regime used several techniques to punish real and perceived opponents. They would whip detainees, deprive them of sleep, and electrocute them. Okay, so anyway, guys, let's go on, right? We're going to skip this bullshit here now, and let's just check out some of this total bullshit here, right? Like, this is another article here, right? Inside Assad's torture chambers, where prisoners were made to suck their own blood off the floor, rape fellow inmates, and executed for looking at guards. Oh my God, you looked at me? Executed! Come on, guys. As illustrations reveal cruel punishments. Check this out, right? I can just skip the article, right? They came up with these silly-ass cartoons. Look at these illustrations that they have. Oh, look at this. We have an illustration. This is what they did to people. They fold you in half, feet first, and put you inside so that you can't move at all. Then they started beating me. They had braided electrical cable, and they hit me with it. Right, so this is, so the guards, they have all this time. They got all these guards on duty. They can just, afford this extra time. Yep, we're gonna have 3 guards. They don't need to actually check out their prisoners. Nope, they just have all this time to just beat people. Oh my God, look at this. The device uncovered inside the Sydney prison is said to be a hydraulic iron press used to execute or torture inmates. Yup. No blood here, you notice in 0 blood? But yes, they use this to press inmates. They crush them. Come on, people. How ridiculous is this? Who writes this shit? And actually, oh, that's right. Let's look at the author of this article, right? The author of this article. Oh, by Al Jazeera staff. No name. No, you don't need to know who actually wrote this. I think we have an author for this article, though, right? So, by Taryn Pedler. Yeah, you're peddling some bullshit. That's what you're doing, Taryn. So then they got these images. They got this bullshit press here. And then look at this. This is brilliant. Oh my God, look at these ropes we found. And then they put some blood on these ropes. I wouldn't be surprised if they just use these ropes themselves. That looks like some pretty fresh blood on these ropes. Normally if the blood, when it's older, it gets dark. Look at this beautiful red color, right, on the ropes. And look at them. Nooses were found after rebel fighters liberated the Sednaya military prison near Damascus. And look how beautiful, fresh the whatever is on there. I wouldn't even say that that's blood. And then they got these cartoons. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my God. Look how scary those guards look. Are those stormtroopers? Darth Vader must have been in charge of this prison here. Oh my goodness. I guess they have a whole cartoon out. Oh, they got more illustrations for you. Oh my God. Look at the guards. This is a real-life illustration of a guard. They had an artist there. Yep, oh my God, look, upsetting. This image released by the Syrian opposition, Sham News Network. No way, it's actually called Sham. Sham News Network, and it's a sham. That's hilarious. Shows mass burial of people allegedly killed by the Syrian government forces in Dama. Now, these probably were just killed by the cocksuckers that just ran through there, the terrorists, right? So, anyway, they got all this bullshit. End of the article, right? Just filled with total absolute bullshit. Now, this one's brilliant, right? So check this out. This is something that was posted on X. And look at this shit, right? So anyway, so this is a brilliant video, but even better than the video is the actual the description that they have here, right? So as the Mujahideen work to break open the underground levels of the notorious Sednaya prison in Damascus, where more than 100,000 people remained in prison. Wait a second. More than 100,000? But wait a second. We just learned over here that about that number were arrested in like over a decade-long period. So how big is this prison? Look at this. They're claiming that over 100,000 people remain imprisoned. Do you guys buy this bullshit? Right. So anyway, people remain in prison. They see through camera footage that many prisoners are still sitting in their cells, unaware of what has happened and what is currently unfolding. Just another day in the thousands they have already endured, with no hope in sight, waiting for death. And while the world watches them through camera footage, they remain unaware that, inshallah, they will be freed at any moment. Allah is great. Allah is generous. Allah is merciful. And then they say something over here. It's La ilaha illallah. I don't know what that means. All right. So, but let's look at this video here. Right. Let's see if we actually see footage of hundreds of thousands of people in prison. So you got one guy in a bed over here. That's a pretty roomy cell. You know, for a prison that tortures people and kills them, this cell looks bigger than any American cell I've ever seen. Looks like he's got blankets in there, like he's just chilling. And they're pointing at some shit here. I don't know what the fuck they're pointing at there. It's all dark. You got a guy just walking around here. Another really big cell. You know, these are really big, roomy cells for a prison that just, like, kills people. I mean, why even have big cells like this? If you're just torturing and killing people all the time, these slaughterhouses, they got some big, roomy cells. This is an outside camera. I don't know. These guys look like they're just chilling, having a smoke break. And this is their evidence, people. Oh my God. Oh my God. This prison system has cameras. Oh my God. Is that, oh my God, what a notorious regime right there. They have cameras. And then they got, I don't know, it looks like either big rooms here. I don't know. This guy looks like he's got a whole wardrobe set up over here. This guy's just chilling in this cell. Looks like only one guy in this cell. That's a huge freaking cell. Look how big that cell is. Look how small the guy looks in there. This is the notorious awful prison, the slaughterhouse. They're probably walking away. Let's walk away from this because we actually don't have any evidence of any wrongdoing in these cameras. Why don't you guys show us the footage? I mean, you guys have access to their footage now, right? Show us the videos of them supposedly being tortured. Anyway, let's move on, right? So, Israel sabotaging serious chances at stability, Saudi Arabia. So this goes to show that Israel was largely involved in this. Israel is trying to undermine the chances of restoring stability in Syria by broadening its military occupation of the civil war-plagued country, Saudi Arabia has said. Israel troops moved deeper into Syrian territory over the weekend, seizing the demilitarized buffer zone established after the 1973 Yom Kippur War, shortly after Damascus fell to a coalition of armed opposition forces led by the Islamist group, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, right? This is basically, it's an Al-Qaeda branch. This is basically an Al-Qaeda branch, right? So, the DMZ. So anyway, this just goes to show, this ties into what I had mentioned in my previous video, the Greater Israel Project. Israel just increased their borders. They literally just straight up moved into Syria. And Saudi Arabia is all like, oh my God, they're sabotaging Syria's chances at stability because now they've moved in there. So now even if the Syrian government does come in, now they have to deal with Israel being inside of their country, right? So Netanyahu claims credit for overthrowing Assad. The Israel prime minister has hailed the jihadist takeover. These are fucking straight up jihadist takeover of Syria as a historic day in the Middle East. So the Israeli prime minister, and actually I've read somewhere really funny, somebody instead of calling it Israel, it says is not real, right? So the is not real prime minister has hailed the jihadist takeover of Syria as a historic day in the Middle East. Is not real prime minister Benjamin Netanyahu has claimed that the fall of Bashar al-Assad's government in Syria is a direct result of Is Not Real's military campaign against Hezbollah and Iran, right? So they're saying, oh, it's like actually he doesn't even say indirect result. He says it's a direct result, right? So he's taking credit for overthrowing Assad. Then over here, Netanyahu says illegal occupation of Syrian land is forever, even though he's trying to like downplay it and make it like it's not forever. Netanyahu is all like, oh yeah, I'm only doing this to secure Israel. Like he's all saying, oh yeah, I don't want these terrorists that I just helped take over Syria to then push into is not real. So that's his excuse. He's all like, oh yeah, these terrorists that I just helped take over Syria, we're now going to occupy Syria to make sure that these very same terrorists don't push into is not real. It's hilarious. Like you can't even make this shit up. So anyway, let's move on. Hamas applauds Syrian revolution. which is interesting because Hamas is supposed to be the enemy of Is Not Real, or of Netanyahu, and yet they're happy, they're applauding that these terrorists just took over Syria. I'm telling you, they're tied together, everyone, okay? They're same fucking people, working together right here, right? So why the West cheers for Al-Qaeda's successors taking over Syria. This article is just about how these terrorists that just took over Syria are basically Al-Qaeda's successors. They're basically just the off-branch of Al-Qaeda. Not that surprising at all. This is the, right over here, we're talking here about a coup d'etat by a group, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, long considered terrorists by the West, and not even just by Washington, whose embassy in Syria tweeted in 2017 that HTS is a merger, and any group that merged into it becomes part of Al-Qaeda's Syrian network. It's ISIS, okay? It's not even, why are we even calling them Al-Qaeda? That's just like a euphemism. So anyway, here's another article. Israel stopped Iran aiding Assad. So Iran was trying to move in to aid Assad, and then a military plane was reportedly forced to turn back over Syria to avoid being targeted by Israeli jets. So Israel had jets over Syria at the time, basically bombing the shit out of any fighters or any forces that were trying to help Assad, and then pushing other forces out. And I think that's, like I said before, that's why I think Russia ended up leaving. That's why Russia was like, you know what, we're getting out of here. Good luck, Assad. Anyway, Taliban hails Islamist victory in Syria. We got the Taliban, these people aren't known for human rights abuses. Only al-Assad, al-Bashar, al-Assam, whatever you want to call it, is known for human rights abuses, right? He's the only person in the entire Middle East. All these terrorist groups, no, they're actually known for being defenders of human rights. They love women being able to get educations. They love, kids being able to get educations. They love all that stuff, right? They're the greatest people ever. So Israeli strike. Okay, so now stepping away from Syria, this article comes out also yesterday. This is December 9th, right? This is yesterday. Israel strikes flour distribution line, kills 50 across Gaza. So there's a flour distribution line, and Israel's like, no, we have to exterminate Hamas. We have a right to defend ourselves and wipe out all Hamas, including those women and children over at that flour distribution line. Let's go bomb the shit out of them indiscriminately. This is insanity. So Palestinian death toll in besieged Gaza Strip rises to 44,000. I'm telling you, this number is much higher than this. This is definitely a super lowball number. Amid relentless Israeli attacks, health authorities say. So yeah, we're talking about al-Basar, al-Asham, whatever his fucking name is. Too many Al's in there now. But let's totally ignore what's going on in Gaza. Let's continue to ignore it. Let's continue to make hyperbole out of a normal prison system in a sovereign country. Let's totally hype that stuff up. And then let's totally downplay, if not just totally completely ignore this. Yeah, you're not going to see this in the New York Post, the Daily Mail, CNN, or any of these other places, right? Yep, the flour distribution line. Oh, well, that looks like terrorist activity over there. That's not flour. That's chemical weapons. And yes, Saddam Hussein must also be involved. Idiocy. Now I want to finish this video off with this article right here. Haiti gang kills 184 people over witchcraft accusation. Over witchcraft accusation. So now you guys are probably asking yourself, what does this have to do? Like, how are these stories tied together at all? Well, it's very simple. These Haiti gangs, they're able to get away with this because of ignorance. Because of lies, because of deceit, because of a lack of education, because of a lack of historical education, most importantly. See, they're not taught about the witchcraft trials, about how the public gets whipped up into hysteria by certain groups of people. By the way, it's interesting. If you actually look up the Salem witch trials, there's really interesting groups tied to the Salem, basically, settlement. And there's an interesting group of people behind that, too, that just happens to be behind a lot of other things that go on in history. And it's something that I didn't even realize until I was doing some research. And I was like, holy crap, this was like actually a somewhat of a religious settlement, but of a certain type of religion that, of course, you can't ever talk about. And then the people that were actually pushing that propaganda over there was a certain group of people that pushes a lot of propaganda. It's really interesting. You guys should look into the actual connections of what happened in Salem, right? But anyway, so this is allowed because of a lack of an understanding of history, a lack of historical knowledge. There's a saying, it's like, I wasn't born yesterday. Well, guess what? If you don't know history, then yeah, you were basically born yesterday. And unfortunately, 99.999% of people don't know enough history. They know very little history, just enough to make them think that they know history, but they actually don't know shit. Okay, so these Haiti gangs are allowed to get away with this. It's the same exact thing that holds true in Syria and all these other conflicts. The world turns a blind eye to this. They're apathetic to this because they're unaware of a lot of important history. So that's how it's all tied together. Ignorance reigns supreme. And that's the boat that we're in. But anyway, as always, don't allow this to make you lose hope. Don't allow this to make you lose grip on reality and turn into like this guy who like took out this healthcare CEO. Don't do that, because then that just takes you out of the game. Then they just lock you up, and then you can't fight the real fight, which is a fight of ideas, which is a fight of representation, which is a fight of getting on the street and really exposing these people. And that's really what I have in store with my life. Once I'm settled, when I'm able to support myself, or, when maybe enough people decide to realize, like, hey, maybe this guy is the real deal, maybe we should actually try to support him. I really want to get out there on the street, bypass the algorithm, and interact with the public directly, educate them directly in a more legitimate manner than I am doing on here. I won't be talking to the public the way that I'm talking to my microphone right now, which is a little, I'll admit, a little unhinged and a little kind of comedic. But, you got to laugh in this world of tragedy. You got to make it, no, maybe this isn't a tragedy, maybe it's a comedy because of just how ridiculous this is. So anyway, as always, try to stay happy, try to stay positive, and most importantly, stay sharp.
I don't have rage. I'm a happy guy. You see this face? This is a happy face. You all would be lucky to be as happy as I am.